Hello again, it's John, and today I'd like to say something about the new Star Trek movies. Grew up on Star Trek. My mom and my uncle, big Star Trek fans. When Next Generation came out, Cat's trying to do some special effects here. When Next Generation came out, super loved it. Gotta say, probably leaning a little bit more towards Picard than Kirk in the who would be your captain argument. Not necessarily because, oh, the generation gap or anything like that, but honestly, Picard is a better captain in general. Kirk might be a sort of more sort of individual American hero kind of guy. But you have to admit, him and McCoy were pretty invalidating and kind of borderline racist to Spock about, oh, well, you're a logic machine. And then something would happen, and then it'd be like, yeah, Spock, use your logic machine Vulcan brain and get us out of this problem that I can either have sex with or punchy punch or tell them that their perspective is wrong and my perspective is the way they ought to go. So it got a little invalidating there with it. Picard, in general, was better. But beside the point, talking about the newer movies that J.J. Abrams has something to do with. Now, while they were fun movies, I enjoyed them as movies, there was something about them that just wasn't right about it. Like, I like this, but there's something wrong. You know, Zachary Quinto, Carl Urban are like dead on as Spock and McCoy, respectively. Not going to complain about Zoe Saldana being in something or Simon Pegg. Good to see them both working. Stuff like that. Chris Pine did a pretty good job as Kirk. In fact, there were some places where it was like straight up Shatner, which was kind of funny. But they're ostensibly just sci-fi action movies with some familiar stuff kind of thrown in. The main problem with the movies, and I think it's going to be really evident in Star Trek Beyond coming out, is that there's no point to them, really. I mean, I kind of understand the first one being a setup. But even in that, there was still a point, like sort of socially. Star Trek was, had that sort of social commentary point to everything it did. Even Next Generation did that. And I think that's where shows like Voyager and Enterprise really kind of had some problems because there was almost no point to it. They weren't making any sort of statement. Even Next Gen, and in pretty much every episode, there was some statement being made, socially, politically, or even in terms of kind of how people deal with each other and everything like that. The J.J. Abrams movies were pretty much just sci-fi action movies. I think that the Star Trek Beyond, like I said, is really going to not help that at all. I mean, especially how that first trailer made the movie look just terrible. I did not want to have anything to do with the movie after that first trailer. Second trailer, I'm like, okay, well, Bones is having really good interactions with everyone, and that's cool. Other than that, like really the only thing I saw in the second trailer that gave me any sort of hope at all is I saw Simon Pegg's name in the credits for writing. But the fact that one of the first things you see is, dude who did Fast and Furious. Not anything inspiring any sort of confidence in them being good movies at all. Or a good movie. I don't know how many more that idiot's going to have anything to do with anything at all going on. The cat and the dog are having social interaction issues. So yeah, that I think that's the main thing with the J.J. Abrams movies, and this one is produced. Woo, madam. Uh, just trying to protect Shin, putting my leg in front of her, and she freaked out. Oh, cats. So yeah, going back. J.J. Abrams produces this third one too, so he's still kind of involved with it. There's no social point to it. There's no sort of moral to it. There's no sort of Aesopian fable. The point of this is to illustrate that. I mean, even what is it? Star Trek 5 had like a point to it. You know, one did a little bit, and then kind of three was a little bit more sort of buddy movie and everything. The whole thing with Star Trek movies, it's the even movies are the good ones. Um, and even a couple of those odd movies had sort of a point to it. That was always the thing of Star Trek. Star Wars was like, you know, the cool epic, and you have some archetype kind of things going on. Um, and Star Trek did too, but it was we're addressing in one of the only ways science fiction kind of can or science fiction has been able to is really address stuff that people don't want to address in kind of a safe way. You know, the whole thing in the original episode where the Frank Gorshin episode where you had the people with like the half white, half black face, and some of them were being like super persecuting the people who had, you know, the black on the one side and the white on the other side, as opposed to white on the side and the black on the side. You know, it was like, and everyone's just like, you guys both have white and black on one side of your face. It was like, no, because his is on the left or the right, and ours is on the right or left. I can't remember exactly which one. It's been a couple years. Um, but it was like, whoa, that's so ridiculous. It's half and half, and it was like, yeah, I get it, ridiculous, racial stuff, stupid, eh, eh. Putting the social thing on the platter for you to look at. There's none of that in these movies. And I think until they make these new Star Trek movies have a point, I think it's the reboot of the franchise in terms of J.J. Abrams sort of thing. I think it's done after this movie. If this movie is going to, if Star Trek Beyond is going to be the way I think Star Trek is Beyond is going to do, I think that new chance at a franchise is pretty much done. And as much as I do kind of generally like J.J. Abrams, they probably should have got someone who understands Star Trek, or at least had seen it before they try to make a big frickin' movie about it. Because maybe something about that, hey, there's a point to this, would have gotten through. That being said, I nominate myself if they want to do a Next Generation reboot as Picard. I already kind of look like him a little bit. I drink tea, and I get it. I mean, it's me. So, new Star Trek movies could be better. Star Trek Beyond looks like a piece of crap, unfortunately. And having some sort of social commentary or point would help them out. Once again, thank you for watching. My name's John, Yin Yang Gemini. Like, subscribe, share, all the good stuff. I really got to get in the habit of saying those things like any proper YouTube person does. And have fun.